Hello friends, welcome to PG department of LG University. This is a lecture series of subject Applied Mathematics for the first semester student in Computer Engineering branch. Here I, Dharmin Patel, presenting a video lecture on the central limit theorem and Navier-Bezier theorem. Here we will start with the central limit theorem. What is the central limit theorem? Suppose your data is not properly normally distributed. In this case, we will take the samples from the different types of distributed data and we calculate the means, and after calculating the means we again represent the new data of that means, and that is always in the normal distribution form. That says the central limit theorem. So let us understand with the concept of figures. This is the uniform probability distribution, that means the constant probability distribution, and its mean are actually 10. When we are taking the 10 samples from this distribution, 20 samples, it look like this. If we are increase the samples, then it is look like normal distribution type. When that is the concept of normal distribution. Here we are taking the uniform distribution, and when we are taking the 10 samples, it is a very simple form. When we are taking the 20 samples, it is right side skewed. 30 samples, in this case we have a both side similarity, and when we have a 50, then it's a look like normal distribution type. Similarly, if this is our arbitrary probability distribution, it is an exponential probability distribution, and in this case again we are taking the 10 samples, then we have this type of situation. Very simple concept. Here when we are taking the 20, it's again a right side skewed. When we are taking the 30, and it is also left side skewed and right side skewed, it's a normal type distribution. And when that means that when we increase the number of samples, at that time we get the normal type of distribution, that says the central limit theorem. Now we will understand by different types of distribution. Here this is the probability continuous distribution, this is exponential distribution, this is the arbitrary right skewed distribution, and these are the arbitrary probability distributions. Now after taking the means of these samples, and now we draw the that means distribution, and distribution of that means of samples is always look like a normal distribution, and mu is our mean of population. So that is the concept of central limit theorem. So here this is the statement of central limit theorem. Let x be a random variable with the normal distribution whose mean is mu and whose standard deviation is sigma. Let x bar be a samples of that population and corresponding random sample size is n from the x distribution. So x bar is the distribution, x bar distribution, that means that we are taking the means, and means distribution will be normal distribution. The mean of x bar distribution is exactly mu, and the standard deviation is not exactly sigma, but it is sigma by root n. So that gives the central limit theorem. So that is the concept of central limit theorem. And now we will discuss about the hypothesis calculation and its error. Here, what is a hypothesis calculation? So when we are analysis some data, at that time we calculated or we assume the some hypothesis according to our data, and if it is the right and our calculated answer is also right, and that is the no error in the first quadrant of that. Here we can say that I am right and test is also right. So it is H0 is our assumed accepted hypothesis, and H0 is rejected hypothesis in the second part. So when our assumption is right, also result is right, so it is no error part. If we are wrong, we assumed that this is accepted, but result is different, exactly opposite to that. That means we test was right and we are assuming that this is wrong case. So it's a error type 2. It is known as beta. And if we accept the hypothesis but result is wrong, in not our favor form, that it is called the type 1 error. It is denoted as alpha. And if we are wrong and test is also wrong, that means our assumption is also wrong, and our test is gives the same result, that means that it is also wrong. In this case, there is a no error. So in the first and fourth quadrant, we have an error, and in the second quadrant, that is the type 2 error, which is beta, and third quadrant, which is type 1 error, it is alpha. So this type of situations occur in the, so this type of situation generally occurs in the hypothesis analysis. And now we will discuss about the some tests during the hypothesis. So this is Z test. Here formula of Z test is x bar minus mu 0 upon sigma upon root n. Here x bar is a mean of sample, mu is mean of population, and sigma is the standard deviation of population, and n is the number of observation. So this is the Z test, and this is T test. So here T test is x bar minus mu bar. Here x bar is sample mean, mu bar is population mean, S is the standard deviation of samples, and root n is our number of samples. So that is our concept of S. What is S? S is calculated like this: square root of sigma I equal to 1 to n x minus x bar whole square upon n minus 1. And this is our F test. So it's sigma 1 square upon sigma 2 square. It's a larger sample variance and smaller sample variance. Here we are calculated the two types of samples, and this is the sigma x square, that is chi-square test, sigma O minus E whole square upon E. Chi-square test is known as sigma test, and O is observed value and E is called a expected frequency. And now we will discuss about the Newton Bayes theorem. It is also depends on the posterior probability. Here in the Newton Bayes theorem, mathematical form of Bayes theorem is like this: probability of A slash B equal to probability of B slash A into probability of A upon probability of B. Here probability of A slash B is conditional probability when A occurrence of A when B is already done or true. Probability of A and B are always positive, and probability of B slash A is occurrence of B when A is true. That is the concept of Bayes theorem. Already we studied in the probability, and now A is called propositions and B is called evidence. A is called prior probability of A, B is called prior probability of B, and A slash B is called posterior probability, and probability of B slash A is called a likelihood probability. So here posterior probability can be written like this: likelihood into proposition prior probability and our evidence prior probability. So that is our concept of Newton Bayes theorem, and here we understand our concept with this example. And in the machine learning we will using the some classification, and these classifications are denoted as CIs, and our output is x1, x2, xn. So finally, from which classification or which partition this come over outside, it is called a posterior probability or Bayes theorem probability. Here, probability of Ci slash x1, x2, xn. It is called a posterior probability of Ci when x1, x2, xn are occurrence. If probability of Ci slash x1, x2, xn equal to probability of x1, x2, xn slash Ci, that means probability of x1 from C1, probability of x2 from C2, and probability of Ci, which is our prior probability, and this is probability of x1, x2, xn. It is called the prior probability of denominator. So finally, this is the Navier-Bayes theorem or algorithm. So finally, this is the Navier-Bayes algorithm, and now we will discuss the last topic, time series, in the next lecture. Thank you very much.